Hi, church family. I hope you are doing well. I am sitting here on the campus of Seattle Pacific University, where my daughter has just started her first day of school. So this is the campus, and we had just dropped her off into the dorms a few days ago to move in and get her settled in. And we are waiting for her to finish her first day so that we can take her out to dinner and say our last goodbyes before we head back home to California. But I just wanted to share something that was said at the new student convocation that happened this past Saturday during the parent orientation. And basically it kind of reiterated the importance of the Psalms in our lives. And it seems that this whole weekend was focused a lot on the Psalms, how this is a period of time when transitions are happening and students are learning a new normal. And so the dean or the provost of academic affairs shared how the Psalms can be categorized according to Old Testament scholar Walter Brueggemann, that it's Psalms of orientation, reorientation, or disorientation, and then reorientation. So the Psalms can be categorized into those three, and how the Psalms of orientation kind of tells us who we are and who God is, and it affirms God's character and praises God. And then in the Psalms of disorientation, it shares about how life kind of throws curveballs at you, and sometimes you find yourself in a pit, and it's crying out to God in your pit and saying, God, where are you? Where have you gone? I know your character. And then the Psalm of reorientation refocuses us and brings us back to the essence of knowing who God is and his faithfulness and his goodness. And in our reorientation, we're able to figure out that in the midst of our suffering and in the midst of the turmoil in our lives, God is still faithful and God is king of our lives. So that was an important thing to really remember this weekend as leaving my daughter up in a foreign place. We kind of came to this place of reckoning and realizing and recognizing God's faithfulness in our lives, and how he will remain faithful to faith when we leave her at college. So yeah, I know that a few days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, I shared in my sermon about Psalm 121 and how it has been a really important psalm in my life. How we lift our eyes up to the mountains, and where does our help come from? And in the preparation of sending Faith off to college, I revisited that passage, and in rereading it, I kind of came to a different view of it. So I think that's why it's so important to reread scripture. Even if you've read it once, keep going back to it, because it can speak to you in such a different way that's relevant to your life stage and moments. And one thing that Faith and I kind of disagreed on in sending her off to college, I was always skeptical, going, oh my gosh, I need to know where you are. And so we were going to have her add this app called Life 360, and she was like, really, you're gonna stalk me? So we came to this place of kind of, she wanted some freedom and for me to trust her, and I came to the place of, well, but I trust you, but the people around are sometimes not trustworthy. So just in case something happens, it would be good for us to know where you are at. And so in that, as I was reading the psalm over again, it really convicted me in my trust of the Lord. So I want to read this to you and how it's manifested in this situation. So it says, I lift my eyes up to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. In the past, I read that for myself. And as I was reading this a few weeks ago, and even now, it just reminds me that this applies to my daughter too. And so it says, he will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. And I don't need an app to tell me where my daughter is, because the Lord is her keeper. The Lord is her shade at her right hand. The sun shall not strike her by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep her from all evil. The Lord will keep her life. the Lord will keep her going out and her coming in from this time on and forevermore. So as I replaced the words of your with her, and I read it as God's promise to her, I realized how much, oh, somebody's really excited to see that. I realized how much, God is the one who keeps track of her. I don't need an app to tell me where she is, but I know that the Lord will keep watch over her. So this psalm became a psalm of reorientation for me, reorienting my life in the confusion and the chaos, and bringing me back to recognizing who God is, that God is my shelter, God is her keeper, and God will keep her safe and watch over her even when I can't be here. So I'm going to end this because there are really excited students around here. So God bless, have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon.